Could they hear you?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum. This is Brother Chauhan. We can hear you.
Yeah. Connect to those speakers.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
John, you are there.
Alhamdulillah. How are you doing?
Hey.
Inshallah, next week I'm there in person again, inshallah.
Allah bless. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. So we are starting Surah Al-Isra, Surah number 17. Bismillah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyid al-Mursaleen, Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. So this surah, surah number 17, has two names. It is called Surah Bani Israel and also Surah Al-Isra. It's called Surah Al-Isra because the first ayah talks about Isra of the Prophet ﷺ, night journey of the Prophet ﷺ from Mecca to Jerusalem. And after that, about several verses, they talk about Bani Israel. Bani Israel were associated with that land, the land of Isra and Mi'raj, the land of Isra actually. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about that. So Surah is not talking about Isra, even though its name is Isra, but the whole Surah is not about Isra. It's just one verse talks about Isra. And then Surah name is Bani Israel, but it's not talking about Bani Israel, all of them. Some verses talk about Bani Israel. And the other issues. This was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ in Mecca before Hijrah. And it was most probably immediately after the event of Isra and Mi'raj. So Rasulullah was taken from Mecca to Jerusalem, and from Jerusalem he had Mi'raj, going towards the heavens, and came back same night. And this event took place about 1.5 years before the migration of the Prophet, before the hijrah of the Prophet from Mecca to Medina, to Medina, yes. So that time when the hijrah took place was a difficult time, the time of persecution and difficulties. And there, some of the Quraysh came, surrounded the house of the Prophet. They wanted to kill him. So it was a tough time, difficult time. As Rasulullah, by the permission of Allah, migrated from Mecca to Yathrib. It was known Yathrib at the time, but then after that, when the Prophet came, people called it Madinatul Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so Al-Madinah. So this surah was revealed after the event of Isra and Mi'raj, which took place about 1.5 years before the Hijrah. It has 111 ayat and divided into 12 sections. In these 12 sections, the division is not by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not by wahi, it's the scholars of the Qur'an. They divided it for the ease of reading and memorization. So it talks about Prophet's night journey from Mecca to Jerusalem, and it talks about Bani Israel, who were associated with that land, and they were punished because of their disobedience. Allah mentions some aspects of their history. And then main theme of the surah is moral and spiritual principles. So it has a lot of message, a lot of teachings about how to behave how to deal with your parent, how to deal with your children, how to deal with other people, respect of life, all of these things. They emphasize that human beings are always in need of divine guidance. Without the guidance of Allah, humans end up in evil, sin, and misery. Human beings must have good relations with each other and live in a society built on the principles of faith, justice, and morality. Surah talks about the evils of pride and arrogance and urges human beings to reflect on Allah's signs and be humble before Him in prayers. Let's look at the 12 sections of this surah and what is in each section. Just highlight. It's not a summary of the topics of the section, but only just highlight. So section number 1 it starts with Isra, night journey of the Prophet ﷺ. It does not talk about Mi'raj. Mi'raj is not mentioned here. Although Isra and Mi'raj both happen in the same night, but in this section only Isra is mentioned. Isra means night journey to Jerusalem. Mi'raj is Prophet's ascension from Jerusalem to heaven. So here we have reference to the night journey to Jerusalem. Mi'raj is mentioned in Surah Al-Najm, Surah number 53. There you have a Najm idha hawa ma dhalla sahibukum wa ma ghawa. So that is first 18 ayat talk about the experience of Mi'raj. Isra took from Mecca to Jerusalem. There are people who want to say that Muslims have nothing to do with Jerusalem. The cities have Jewish people. Jewish people, of course, Islam does not deny that. Jewish people have association with this city. But Prophet ﷺ went there. It is his Masra. So some people say, oh no, Isra was towards heaven. No, Isra was not towards heaven. So it was towards the Masjid al-Haram, or Masjid al-Aqsa. And Masjid al-Aqsa is in Jerusalem. Some people know Masjid al-Aqsa is another place. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Bani Israel, the whole history of Bani Israel. And that is associated with Jerusalem, which has associated with the land of Palestine. So, this is important to keep in mind that this surah talks about Isra and at the same time talks about Palestine, about the land. So it's not heaven, it is not another area, another place. It is Jerusalem, it is Palestine, it is the land of Sham, Syria. So Allah talks about this in the first section, we have that ayah. And then talks about human beings, that they are hasty, they are not patient enough, and sometimes they even say that evil come to them because of their haste. They forget that they should be patient. And reward and punishment all have their time. People will receive the blessing as well as the punishment people will receive. There is a time for that. And the moral spiritual principles are emphasized. Worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and respect of the parents. And then moral principles, among them is children's rights, decency, right of life, orphans' property, honesty in dealings, humbleness. So these are the principles that are mentioned there. And Tawheed, of course, the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the basic message of the Qur'an. Gentleness is enjoined. Satan's pride against man and his pledge to mislead human beings. Everyone will be brought on the day of judgment with his or her own deeds. Emphasis on prayers and on the reading of the Qur'an. The Qur'an is inevitable. This is a message that has no parallel. There is no one can produce a Qur'an like it. Non-believers have lame arguments against the prophets of Allah and the attitude of Pharaoh towards the Prophet Moses and the miracles of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. So you have here some highlights of this surah, and inshallah begin. But today we'll talk only about the first ayah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحان الذي يسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير وآتينا موسى الكتاب وجعلناه هدى لبني إسرائيل ألا تتخذوا من دوني وكيلا ذرية من حملنا مع نوح إنه كان عبدا شكورا. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the compassionate, glory be to him who took his servant to journey by night from the sacred mosque to the furthest mosque, whose surroundings we have blessed, that we may show him some of our signs. Indeed, it is he who is the hearer, the seer. And we gave Moses the book, and we made it a guidance for the children of Israel, that you take no guardian beside me. O the progeny of those whom we carried in the ark with Noah, he was truly a thankful servant. So, Subhanallah, Subhana, like Subhanallah. Glory be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Allah is exalted from all the things that people say, ascribe to him that do not deserve, belong to him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is beyond that. Allah is beyond any partner. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is beyond anyone who is equal to him, like him. Subhan. So Subhan is used for glorification of Allah. Glory be to him. And the glory is, this word is used here because the Prophet was taken, he was in Mecca, and he was from his home taken to Haram, to Masjid al-Haram, and from Masjid al-Haram, Jibreel alayhi salam came and took him, presented him Buraq, a special ride, a special creature that was for this ride. And Jibreel was leading the Buraq. And in few moments, he was in Jerusalem. At that time, there was no aeroplanes, there was no other high-speed vehicles, but he was there in moments. Seconds, less than seconds, he was there. And so this is miraculous journey. Asra in the Arabic language means traveling by night. The night journey is called Isra by itself. The word Isra means traveling during the night. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned Layl again, emphasize that it was night time. So Asra, Sara Yasri means to go, to travel. Asra, to take somebody for travel, to take somebody for a journey. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one, Subhan, glory be to him, who did that, who took his servant by night. So Allah is the one who did that. And this is not again a normal journey, it's an extraordinary journey. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, glory be to him. Majesty is his, exalted is he, mighty is his, who took his servant. So that means there must be something unusual happen. It's miraculous. Because otherwise, as you say, he went during the night. But it is Allah provided that journey. And Allah is the one who took them. And the mighty of Allah, the might of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah wants to do something, He can do it. It can happen immediately. When Allah has His angels and other creatures, Sulaiman alayhi salam was sitting there in that area, the area of Palestine, and one of his servant, jinn, he said, I can bring the throne of Shiva from Yemen before you even blink your eye. I will do that. And so he saw that the whole throne of Queen of Shiva was there. Before she arrived, her throne was there. So in a similar way, if one of the creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can do that, then Allah can do much more. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did that. Allah took him. So those who do not believe in Allah, of course, for them it's difficult to understand. But those who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they know the power of Allah, the majesty of Allah, the glory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they understand that. Asra, he took him. He did not go by himself. It's not Prophet who went by himself. It was Prophet who was taken from there. Bi'abdihi. And here is not mentioned the name of the Prophet, rather than his honorable title. The honorable title of the Prophet is Abdullah. Anzala ala abdihi al-kitab. Wherever there is the honor of the Prophet mentioned, he used that he is Abd of Allah. He is the greatest servant of Allah. He is the one who worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and no one worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more than him and better than him. So Abd is the honor of the Prophet. Abd is not, na'uzubillah, kind of any disgrace or anything like that. Abd describes this is the highest level, the worshipper of Allah, the devotee of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned Asra bi'abdihi. And you can see that in this there is a glorification of the Prophet and the honor of the Prophet, but at the same time show that he is very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, my servant, his servant. bi'abdihi, subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi. So glory be to him who took his servant during the night, laylan, from where? From the Masjid al-Haram. Masjid al-Haram is the name of the masjid that Ibrahim alayhi salam built. The masjid in which there is Kaaba, and that is in Mecca. So he was taken from the sacred mosque, the honorable mosque. Haram is used in the sense of honorable, inviolable. So the great mosque of Mecca, to the distant mosque, Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. Aqsa, it means far in distance. And between this Masjid Al-Haram and Masjid Al-Aqsa, there was no mosque at that time. So that was the farthest mosque. Now you have many masajid in Mecca, you have many masajid in other places, and by the time you arrive in Jerusalem, you can have hundreds of masajid. But at that time, that was the mosque. This is the distant mosque. So the distant mosque, min al-Masjid al-Haram ila al-Masjid al-Aqsa. And this masjid, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, is the one, its surroundings are blessed. So Allah did not say barakna fi, say barakna hawla. Its surroundings we have blessed. Because Allah would have said that barakna fi, the masjid is blessed. But Allah is saying the masjid is blessed and all the area around it is blessed. Barakah means growth. Barakah is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made that land, that area around this Masjid al-Aqsa, blessed area. It's a blessed land. I mentioned in the Quran several times that this al-Ard al-Mubarakah, al-Ard al-Muqaddasa, this is holy land. This is the blessed land. And why it is blessed? Because it's the land where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent many prophets. Many prophets came in that area. Messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah's glory, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings, they manifested in that land. Unfortunately, people who are living in that land, they have not realized that. Many of them, they follow that. But there are many people who do not recognize the holiness of this land, the blessed thing of this land. And they have made this land filled it with corruption, with evil, with injustice, killing the people. It happened in the past and it's happening now. So the land has been desecrated by the people. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed it. So His blessings are there. And the blessing of the land does not make the people holy. What makes the people holy is not the land. What makes the people holy is their behavior, their action. So if you do the right thing, wherever you are, you live in America, you live in any place, if you follow the right thing, you will see the blessing of Allah. But there are people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, وَمِنْ أَهْلِ الْمَدِينَةِ مَرَضُوا عَلَى النِّفَاقِ لَا تَعْلَمُهُمْ نَحْنُ نَعْلَمُهُم. Allah mentioned that in Medina there are some people who are munafiqeen, who are hypocrites, even though they are in Medina of the Prophet. So the land does not make people holy. What makes people holy is their behavior. If they do right things. If the right things, alhamdulillah. But the land is, yes, it's a blessed land. There is incentive in that land that those who pay attention, they become better, good people. I mean, Laylatul Qadr comes, but doesn't mean that it comes and anybody who is in Laylatul Qadr will get the blessings. No, those who pay attention, they will get the blessing. So in a similar way, those who live in the Holy Land, if they live and behave in the right way, they will receive the blessing. So Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, the distant masjid, the farthest masjid, its surroundings are holy. Masjid is holy, its surroundings are holy. And Allah said, لِنُرِيَهُ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا. So what was the purpose of Isra? The purpose of Isra was, first of all, that prophets see the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's very, if you can see that, how the pronoun has changed. Glory be to whom, to him, to who took his servant during the night from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa, but did not say لَيُرِيَهُ, that he show him, but rather say لِنُرِيَهُ, so that we should. From third person, it comes to first person. لِنُرِيَهُ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا. And did not say لِيُرِيَهُ مِنْ آيَاتِهِ, so that he may show him his signs. But this is iltifat. In Arabic language, you call it iltifat. Sometimes you change the pronoun to draw the attention. Pay attention, who is doing that? So Allah is the one who took him to his servant, and then he took him so that we show him. That means Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now talks in first person. We show him, so that we show him some of our signs. Allah's signs are many. Min ayatina, some of our signs. لِنُرِيَهُ min ayatina. And who is showing these ayat? They say Allah. إِنَّهُ هُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. And now you again have the third person. He is the one who hears and sees everything. You see that beautiful way of pronouns are changing, and the persons, third person to first person, from first person again to third person. So glory be to him who took his servant by night, that means part of the night, not the whole night, Laylan, one of the nights, took him from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa. الذي باركنا حوله. And the Masjid al-Aqsa, and the land of Aqsa, that land is known as Holy Land, the blessed land, that is the land of Sham. It is now divided into 4 different countries. It is Sham, Syria. It is Lebanon. It is Jordan. And it is the West Bank, which is called the Palestine. And then, of course, the occupied land, which is known as Israel. So you have, but all that is Great Sham, Sham al-Kubra. So this is called Sham, Great Sham. And it was all one country. During the Khilafah, it was one country. And before that, it was one country. But now people have divided. And more divisions are taking place. So, originally it is Sham. And all of this is blessed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted his blessings and favor. So this is a blessed land, very powerful land, great land, if people follow the right path, if people live that way. And Allah is the one who hears and sees everything. إِنَّهُ هُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hears everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, hears whatever, any sound that you may hear or you may not hear, Allah hears. And Basir, and He sees everything. So Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi laylan min al-masjid al-haram ila al-masjid al-aqsa alladhi barakna hawlahu linuriyahu min ayatina innahu huwa as-sami'u al-basir. So the way this ayah is structured, it gives very clear sense that this is a miracle that took place. It's not like Prophet was dreaming, he was in his bed and he had a dream. It is not like something like a spiritual vision. Somebody said that Prophet had his experience. But this is physical journey. It is a physical journey that happened. How it happened, Allah knows. But it is a physical journey, and that's why most of the people they say it is not dream. It is not just an experience, spiritual experience, but it is the Prophet was taken. And when he mentioned that to his companions and then other people, some of them surprised, happy, and they believed. But there were other people who were weak in their faith. They can, what is this? How it can happen? It takes us 1 month to go and 1 month to come back. And he's saying that in the night he went and came back in the same night. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is interesting. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not take him to Mi'raj directly. If Prophet said, I went to heaven and I went to all the 7 heavens, nobody has gone there. Some people say, all right. But Allah took him on horizontally on the land. So you go from Mecca to Jerusalem. And many people have gone to Jerusalem. And so, not in the same way, but they used to travel. And then they came and they said, tell us something about Jerusalem. We have been there. So we find out whether really you went to Jerusalem or not. And Prophet ﷺ described that, explained that to them, what he saw. And he mentioned the place where he took his buraq and tied from the rope of his buraq, and then after that he traveled. Now somebody said that there was no Masjid al-Aqsa at that time, because the Masjid of Dawood alayhi salam was destroyed in 587 BC. Bukhtanasar is the one who destroyed that. And then after that, it was destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD, 70 after Isa alayhi salam. And after it was destroyed, there was nothing, nothing was built. Even the Christians ruled that area, but they did not build. They did not build the masjid. They did not build any church, any temple in that area. So at the time when the Prophet went there was no temple. It's not that Muslims destroyed the temple, no. It was destroyed by the Romans long time before. So at that time there was no masjid. But masjid is the place of sajda. It doesn't have to be a building. You see, masjid is the place of sajda. Masjid al-Aqsa, the place of sajda, where it happened, that was at one time there. So that's what it is. Even Masjid al-Haram was not built full at that time. Kaaba was there, but the whole masjid was not built at that time. People used to come and sit there. The great masjid that we have now, the grand masjid, is built later. So masjid is a place of sajda. Sacred masjid and the sacred al-Aqsa masjid. So it is in that sense. But it was at what, when before Prophet ﷺ and before 70, it was a temple. They call it Temple of Solomon. During the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam, it was built, a beautiful, majestic masjid that was there. Dawood alayhi salam established, and then after Sulaiman alayhi salam magnified it and made it very nice. It was a huge and very beautiful masjid. But the Romans came and they destroyed it completely. So the Prophet ﷺ, he visited the place of the Masjid al-Aqsa, the site of the Masjid al-Aqsa. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, showed him how it was at one time. And some of the walls, some of the traces of that masjid was there. And it is reported that the Prophet ﷺ was brought by Jibreel alayhi salam there, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had many prophets gathered for him. So you have 124,000 prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that came at different times in history and all over the world. In honor of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were all brought there. Their spirit was brought there. And they all gathering there, this gathering, and they wanted somebody to lead them in prayer. So they asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to lead them in prayer. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam led them in prayer. And after performing the prayer, the Prophet was taken. He was presented the ladder, and he went on that ladder and went to heaven. And Jibreel was with him. And then he came to the first heaven, and Jibreel knocked at the gate of the heaven. And one of the angels asked, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm Jibreel." "Are you invited?" "Yes." "Who is with you?" Muhammad. And then the Prophet ﷺ meets Adam alayhi salam. And Adam alayhi salam welcomes the Prophet ﷺ. And he says, "Marhaban bil Nabi salih bil Ibn salih." Welcome to son to the pious son and the pious prophet, the great prophet. And then he saw this was a welcoming party, welcoming group that were welcoming. And then he goes up and sees Isa alayhi salam and Harun alayhi salam, Yahya alayhi salam, and so on and so forth. So he goes all the 7 heavens. And then he meets on the 7th heaven, he meets Ibrahim alayhi salam. And the Prophet described how he looked like, how Ibrahim looked like, how Musa alayhi salam looked like, how Isa alayhi salam looked like. So various prophets, not all the prophets, various prophets, they were there and they welcomed the Prophet. And everybody says, Marhaba bin Nabi Salih. When you see Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam say, Marhaba bil Ibn Salih, like Adam. Adam says son, so he's the son of Adam. All of us are sons of Adam. We're children of Adam. But Ibrahim alayhi salam had a special relationship with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muhammad had a special relationship with him. And he was in the family of Ibrahim alayhi salam through Ismail alayhi salam. So he called him son. So he said, welcome to pious son and the pious prophet. And then after that, he was taken beyond that, where even Jibreel could not go. The Prophet went beyond that, and there he had his conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now somebody say, what does it mean? Do you mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in a particular place? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is absolute. But he has his own relationship. How? Wherever it is, I mean, it is the meeting of the absolute with the human being. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, yes, he is, his arsh. He is above the 7th heaven, but at the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is infinite, mutlaq, absolute, everywhere. So here the Prophet goes there and he had the audience with the majestic Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Qur'an says, فَأَوْحَى إِلَىٰ عَبْدِهِ مَا أَوْحَى. And he inspired his servant with whatever he inspired. He revealed to his servant whatever he revealed. So Allah revealed him his message. Allah gave him the gift of 5 prayers. The 5 prayers that we have, that were given in the time of Mi'raj by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet ﷺ came back and told his ummah that I'm given 5 prayers. Actually, the prayers, as you know the story, 50 prayers were given. Allah gave the Prophet ﷺ 50 prayers. And the Prophet ﷺ is so obedient to Allah, he did not say anything. He accepted it. He accepted 50 prayers. And then he came, and Musa alayhi salam asked him, he was coming down, Musa alayhi salam asked him, what did you receive? He said, Allah gave me 50 prayers every day to perform. Musa alayhi salam, I have experienced Bani Israel. The Ummah cannot do that. Bani Israel could not do it. Your Ummah cannot do that. Go and ask for the Allah reduce. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reduced 10. So became 40. Come back again to Musa alayhi salam. He said, go back. It's 40 is too much. So he goes back. And then they are reduced to 30. And then he goes back and they reduced to 20. And then 10. And then after that 5. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, my word will go. These are 5, but the reward is 50. Allah wanted to give 50, reward of 50. So this is the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the beautiful way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'm reduced now. Your 50 prayers into 5 prayers. So observe the 5 prayers. I mean, a lot of people find it difficult even to pray 5 times. But the reward is, if they understand the reward is 50 prayers. And our Prophet ﷺ, he prayed 50 every day. He prayed 50 every day. And there are people who do that. I mean, they're not fard prayers, but they are sunnah. So you have 17 rak'ahs of fard, and then 12 rak'ah of sunnah, and then you have nafil prayers, and you have tahajjud prayer. If you put them together, it's 50. 50 rak'ah. I mean, it's not independent prayers 50, but 50 rak'ah. And that's what Muslims do. Many people do that. And Rasulullah used to do that. So we don't have 50 obligatory prayers, but there are people who observe prayer, and they pray rak'at, which are sometimes more than 50. Especially in the month of Ramadan, you have 20 rak'at, tarawih, and then 3 witr, and then other nawafil. Nawafil, you pray tahajjud prayer, 8 rak'at, and you pray shraq prayer, 8 rak'at, 4 rak'at. And you pray 4 rak'ah before Asr, and you pray after Isha, 2 rak'ah, and you have Salatul Awwabin after Maghrib. Many prayers. Alhamdulillah. And it is important to observe the prayer, because prayer is the way to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to communicate with Allah. So if you want to hear Allah, read the Qur'an. And if you want to talk to Allah, do the prayers. Dua. And Allah says, Ud'uni astajib lakum. Call me and I'll answer you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers everyone. To him it doesn't make difference who is, where he is. You call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and whatever language you use, Allah will answer you. Ud'uni astajib lakum. Call me and I'll answer you. The majesty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, glory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and every other obligation was given on the earth. The Prophet was called towards the heaven, and there Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him this salat. That's why salat has a very high status. Some people say salat mi'raj al-mu'minin. Salat is the mi'raj of the believers as well. It's not a hadith, but it is the reality. That's true. If people pray in the right way, this is their mi'raj. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us, and that give us the tawfiq and the hidayah that we observe the prayers. And the prayer, Allah says, Inna salata kanat alal mu'minina kitabun mawquta. Salat should be observed on time. And Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. Salat prevents from the evils and shameful deeds. So people should know that is the purpose of salat. Salat is to bring people closer to Allah. Allah says in Surah Al-Alaq, they pray, make sajda, and come close. And the person is closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he or she is in the state of sajda. So may Allah accept our prayers and bring us closer to Him, and understand that this is the greatest experience that the Prophet ﷺ had, beside of course talking to Allah, receiving the gift of salat. Barakallahu. Inshallah, we'll continue with the study of the surah. If you have any questions, let's take that.
Yeah, Salam alaikum. I have a question. You mentioned the prophets, the other prophets, when they joined Prophet Muhammad in prayer at Masjid Aqsa, they were there in spiritual form. So they were not sent there physically for performing that prayer?
And I didn't get your question. What is the question?
No, the question is, you mentioned all the 125,000 prophets that joined Prophet Muhammad in prayer at
Yeah.
Masjid Aqsa, they were there in a spiritual form. So they were not sent there physically. So physically, the Prophet was standing alone in prayer. And how should we envision that? Was there a big crowd of prophets together in prayer, or they were only there spiritually?
Yes, that's good question. That whether the Prophet, 124,000 prophets were physically there or they were spiritually there. Allahu Alam, I mean, Allah knows, most probably they were in their spiritual existence. They were with the
Well, I
Prophet.
think at that time, as you mentioned, the land was occupied and ruled by the Romans, and they didn't use that area. I mean, the area was like a quarry or something. The area wasn't even able to accommodate that amount of
Yes.
people. So it's probably more likely it was spiritual event.
Probably. May Allah. But Allah knows how this happened. This is a very spiritual situation and feeling.
Yeah.
And Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was the Imam
Of
al-Anbiya.
course.
One of the name of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the Imam of the Prophets of Allah. And this is the place of the many prophets born in Jerusalem. So that's why Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala brought them there.
Sacred land.
Any other questions? Yes.
Last time you mentioned Sham.
Just Brother Kalim, the sister asking a question.
Isra and Raj happened on the same.
Yeah, it was same night. Thank you. Yes, Brother Kalim.
My question was, you said the Syria is also as a blessed land. So which other area is a blessed land? Is Masjid al-Aqsa Barakna Hawlo. So how do you define the Jerusalem or other countries around it is all blessed, or only particular area of Jerusalem?
Allah said, Barakna hawlahu. Yani Barakna hawla al-masjid. We surrounded the area around the masjid. So how far is that? Allah knows.
Okay.
Only Allah knows that is how far is that. But this is the blessed area. So it is Allah did not say Baraknahu. Al-Masjid al-Aqsa alladhi Baraknahu. But say Barakna hawlahu. That is Masjid al-Aqsa, we bless its surroundings. The masjid is blessed and its surroundings are blessed. Yeah.
So anybody elaborated? Because I hear Sham and Gaza, all those areas also part of that.
Yeah, that's why, I mean, the whole area is
Whole area.
the blessed area, and people have to honor it and have to live in a respectable manner, in the proper manner, not committing sins and crimes and killing people. Do justice in that land to all people, all the inhabitants of the land. They should care for each other. But unfortunately, people are trying to dominate and take over, and as if this is, they can do anything they like. They are not behaving, even in some other places, they don't behave like that, whatever they're doing here. It's terrible, what is happening there. Massacres are happening, children are being killed, women are killed. The places of worship are destroyed. That's happening. This is what the Zionists who say claim that land, this is what they are doing. And they are not doing that recently, they have been doing for a long time, unfortunately.
I think, if I may add, I think history agrees, or the majority of history agrees, that only during the time when the land was controlled by Muslims, especially under the time of Salahuddin bin Ayyub, was there really peace, and the three main religions lived together peacefully: Christian, Jew, Judaism, and Islam. And only when Muslims led that land, that was possible.
When he entered there and he liberated that land, After that, people were living together. Jews
Yes.
and Christians and Muslims, they all lived together. Jews were not allowed before that. Before Muslims came, Jews did not allow, I mean, the Christians who were ruling that land, they did not allow Jewish people to come. But when Muslims took over in the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, after that they allowed the Jewish people to come and thrive there. And they established their places of worship and the places of learning in that land until the Crusaders came. And the Crusaders, again, they killed a lot of Jews and they killed Muslims and also Christians who did not belong to their sects. They killed them. And they ruled for almost 100 years until Salahuddin came. And Salahuddin is the one who liberated the land. And then after that, now, the recent history during the British time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless this land and make it peaceful land for all people. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا